Just an awesome milestone, the retirement of Corporal Scott Borgstadt. It's no surprise that this room is going to be full. And before we kick this off, I want to introduce some of our guests. Mayor Clay McCaw is with us. Mayor Pro Tem Carolyn Flowers. Second member Dr. Angelica Landry. And then Councilmember Mark Rodriguez, I saw him back there, thank you. And City Manager Chuck Matuchuk. City Manager Victoria Yarbrough. We also have Sheriff Mark Daniels with us today. And also joining us today is Justice of the Peace for Precinct 5, Ken Kerfman. Thank you for joining us today. And I also want to introduce another special guest. She's special to me, and that's Paula Baker, President of the Citizens Police Academy. We're going to talk a little bit about the CPAA and just the great relationship we have with them, but I have to introduce Paula. And lastly, I just want to give a round of applause to all the retirees. This ceremony is also counting as a reunion of retirees for the holidays. So, because I let you guys bingo for 10 minutes. So, this is also a reunion. But please, all our retirees, thank you for joining us. Now, most important guest here, Scott, I'd like to introduce your family there.
Thank you. Sure. Right over here is my little brother Todd. My amazing wife Denise. My amazing daughter Kelsey. My fiance Alex. My dad, who's a former patrol volunteer.
Thank you for joining us today. To kick this off, we have a lot of things to say about Scott. When you've known somebody for a couple of decades, there's going to be some stories, a lot of accolades. We're going to see the face of the department leave here today, which is going to hurt. But some of his accomplishments have been legacy level accomplishments in this agency, and I'm proud to be able to stand here before you and share those with you as we see him off for the holidays. But first and foremost, I'd like to invite up Mayor McCaw.
On behalf of the City of Sierra Vista City Council, we present you with the Certificate of Appreciation to Corporal Scott Borgstadt, PD 241, for his service to the City of Sierra Vista from October 10th, 2001 to December 31st, 2025. His commitment to the City of Sierra Vista Police Department, moving up through the ranks from police officer to corporal, is truly commendable. Your dedication has helped us make Sierra Vista a safer and more enjoyable community. Thank you, sir.
We got a lot of cameras to look at.
Vern, look at Vern.
We'll go center, then left, and right. Oh, Vern wasn't ready.
Vern was ready.
Let's get Vern.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
I have an alibi I need to share today. I did have the Class A uniform ready to get going into, and Scott caught me while I was running around doing some things, and he said, "Don't wear it, because he's wearing this." And I said, "Scott, you're a good man." So, I was working today. Thank you, Scott. He has a couple gifts he's actually given the department today to talk about, because that's just the caliber of guy he is. Thank you so much for making this a casual. So, but the Class A was ready. I'm not that type of chief that wouldn't have worn it. Please know that. But this is his day, so I'm going to let him call the shots and what we're going to wear. Thank you, Scott. So, City Manager Retierment, please come on.
I get the privilege of presenting Scott with his city gift, but got to say a few things first. Last week I was at Brad Rowland's retirement from Good Neighbor Alliance. Sheriff was there, and others that we know. And I guess you're getting old when you get to see people's second retirements. But the reason I bring that up is because Brad Rowland, went on from a great career here at PD, and then went and served the community, working for Good Neighbor Alliance. And so many of you do that. And Scott Borgstadt here epitomizes that. You know, all the work he's done with Better Bucks while he's been, you know, on the force is going to have a lasting impact on this community. He's going to keep doing that as well. And I think it's just a tribute to the culture and the people that we have working here at PD, that so many of you are involved in that. And again, Scott is really, you know, at the top of that list when it comes to that kind of service. So, Scott, that's greatly appreciated. So, this is Scott's gift. It is a girl.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that, and the chief can go over Scott's law enforcement, you know, accomplishments a lot better than I do. But on behalf of everybody in the staff, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, next, we want to call up Mrs. Borgstadt. Anybody who has been married to an SVPD cop knows you too are married to the SVPD and you are part of the SVPD family. It takes a supportive family for an officer to be successful in this career. This is not an easy job. Scott has worked his fair share of rotating shifts and holidays, weekends, time away from family, and he's given a lot to this city and to this community, and it took a support system at home. And today to thank you for what you've done. So please, on behalf of the men and women of the Sierra Vista Police Department, thank you for everything you've done. And we usually see each other on Sundays, right? Walmart or Safeway. I see you all run into them. Thank you so much. Up here. Okay. Next, I'd actually like to invite down the sheriff because one of our most important partners here in this county is our partnership with the sheriff's office. We work hand in hand, and Sheriff would like to say a few words about Scott to present something. Thank you,
Thank you, Chief. I won't kiss him, I promise. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Chief, thanks for inviting us. Scott, thanks for having us here at your retirement. And as the Chief says, we're a huge partner. And I say this is special law enforcement in Cochise County. And speaking of Brad Rowland, him and I started our careers. He started in '83, I started in '84. So we've watched a lot of people retire. Still here, I don't care. But I tell you, Scott, you've been a friend of law enforcement, a friend of the sheriff's office. I know you were very close with Grady and Carol Pappas, who couldn't be here this afternoon on the PIO stuff. So we have a couple things we want to share with you as you move into retirement. We do have a picture too, okay? And this is the party times. The legend has retired. Very expensive. You're looking for a nice retirement gift, come see us. But a lot of it's really cool. 24 years, one of the finest police officers, 24 years of service, life-changing assignments, hundreds of stories, thousands of calls, countless arrests, cherished friendships, which is most important, and unforgettable memories. Thank you so much for the one of the things we brought back, one of the legacies being Cochise County in the West and stuff, is our belt buckles we give out to our retirees and our friends of the sheriff's office. This is not a picture, this is real. And so you can melt this down, we don't make pennies no more. So Scott, we wish you well. Thank you. Friendship, we wish you and your wife many years of relaxation and fun. So, Chief, thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, well, it's my turn to just talk a little bit about Scott's career because it's a lot more than just commendable. I'd be selling short if I said it's commendable. Really, Scott is one of those employees that I feel is leaving a legacy behind, and there's a few things he's done that are going to stay in this department for a long time. But you know, one of the most important things about Scott is dependability, integrity, and he's just a hard worker. He always does right. and he's had that steadfast throughout his whole career. He's always had that reputation as being the trainer, the one who knows the right answer, or the one who's going to guide people. He's the one you want as your backup on that call. But something else we talk a lot about here in the department, and in the last few years we brought it up a little more and more, is we always kind of assess our culture. And the most important part of the SVPD culture is the fact that we're a family. We are a family here. We get to know the families, and actually Scott was there this last summer. I had this bright idea to bring a dunk tank out and let all the kids, the PD families, dunk me until about an hour into it. I realized it's a bad mistake. But Scott was there with his family, and in fact they played the cornhole tournament.
Yep.
But something I need to give Scott credit for is his demeanor and the way he's treated people in our department has been really a keystone part of making this a family. He really is. When you think of the SVPD family, the first thing that comes to my mind is Scott Borgstadt. He's the type of guy that will come up and ask people how they're doing. And it's more of a personal thing. And I tell you, it's probably why we've had some officers stay here too, is because you were their first mentor. You've really given to this agency things that I don't think you really got the credit for, but today's the day to say it. So Scott has been really important for building the culture of a family, but also friendship, mentorship. He has been a field training officer for a number of years. Now, something a little bit about Scott is he's also the longest standing corporal we have in our agency, because me and him tested for corporal at the same time. That's why I know that. And he made corporal around the same time I did. He's been corporal almost 18 years. I did the math. You're just a couple months away from 18 years as a corporal. So he has been a leader, a field supervisor in this job for a long time in the agency, and we've leaned on him in a number of ways. Corporal, first of all, is a hard job. Corporal taught me I need to study hard for sergeant, because corporal's not an easy job. Taking calls for service, training officers, being a shift supervisor, being a role model, leading by example, coaching. It all falls in the corporal job description, and I tell you what, Scott really fit that bill really well. So a couple of things about Scott. He's always led by example in his performance, and a lot of people don't notice he's quite a marksman. If you go down in our hallway on the perpetual plaques, you'll actually see he's won the firearms award a couple times, shotgun award, and that's just one of the things that he's done, leading by example. He also became a department subject matter expert in Landlord-Tenant Act. And so whenever we had new officers come in, or even experienced officers struggling with that, Scott was a go-to person for that. And he became a subject matter expert on that. But early on in his career, Scott also displayed a knack for thinking outside the box to solve problems. And that's really what crime prevention is all about. We respond to a lot of calls for service. We're like, gosh, we're going back here again. We're going back here again. Scott's the type of guy who thought about, well, gee, I wonder if we could do something different so we don't have to keep coming back to the same place. And early on, he actually started the crime-free multi-housing program here in Sierra Vista, which was a program that he learned about and brought in and made active in our department. Whereas if we're going to the same apartment for calls for service, disturbances, drug usage, stuff like that, we could actually turn in reports to the management and see if we can speed up the process of evicting them out of it. So that was just one thing that Scott did early on in his career that was a mainstay for quite a while, until that program eventually just had to go away for other reasons. And then he moved himself into, worked himself into the being a crime prevention officer in PIO. And again, being the face of this department is one of the most important jobs. I mean, he represents our agency well, and I'm really glad to see. I think the fact that we have the Herald and Cool FM here is just an example of they're coming here because he has interfaced with a lot of outside entities, represented well, built relationships, and done a great job of that. But something else Scott needs to be credited for is National Night Out in Sierra Vista. Took what was a small gathering at the park and moved it into what is one of the largest national night events probably in the state, I imagine. And I remember one particular year, he was putting on a national night out event, coordinating what we thought was going to be the biggest one ever, and it rained, it got canceled. and it was on a Saturday. This was going to be the biggest one ever, and it was one of those rains where it was just soaking. I mean, it just wasn't going to happen. And he didn't let that stop him. He came back stronger and better and just made another national night out and kept on going. Last year was an awesome one, or I should say this year. This year's national night out was I think probably the biggest one we've ever had. It continues to grow, but that again, that was Scott's doing, working with all the other partners and building that. In fact, I get complaints about why weren't they invited, and I have to tell people it's because we can't keep track of everybody. We really can't. There's so many people who want to join our national night out. So that's just another thing that Scott has passed the torch on, Janae. You're going to need to take notes on this. So national night out, start planning now for next year if you even want to match what Scott has done. But that's another example. And then also with the Citizens Police Academy Associates. So one of our most important relationships is with our graduates of Citizen Police Academy. And Scott's job is to be a liaison, a department liaison with the Citizens Police Academy Associates. A lot of people don't know that, but that's a lot of weekends in a command post in different parking lots doing things like vintages. And I came and visited him a couple months ago and had some fun with Paula. And we had my department truck vintage so they could practice so I could start showing people what that looks like. And just the camaraderie and the followership you have with the CPAA, it took a lot of time to build that, but you did that, and you've been a great representative and liaison, keeping that relationship going. And again, Scott, that took time to build. That wasn't something you did overnight. But there's a lot of other things that Scott has done over the years. He's been on the honor guard. Again, great face of the department. He was one of our honor guard members for the longest time and went to a lot of special events representing an honor guard capacity. And then also he has been I think he started the Refuse to be a Victim program. That was another program, got a lot of traction, and that was an NRA program that Scott brought on. And I remember one day walking into the front training room, seeing all these people in there, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And he goes, oh, it's this Refuse to be a Victim course that he did. And it's actually another part of the crime prevention. Got a lot of accolades for that, and people in the community really appreciated everything he did for bringing that program in, teaching people on how to just prevent being a victim. You know, there's a need for that. It really is. And then moving on down the road, Scott has been in and out of the specialty position that he's in now throughout his career. He's gone back to patrol, been a trainer, FTO, and then a lot of people in here have got to have some good FTO stories on Scott. I have one story I got to share. He actually prevented the Great Escape one day. I don't know if he remembers this, but I was just thinking about this the other day. Josh Nicola and I, back in, I think it was maybe 2005, 2006, we were working in property crimes, and we made a really good collar on a commercial burglary suspect that had a lot of stolen property in his possession that we were going to need to do a search warrant. We had tracked him to his trailer. We knew we were going to clear a lot of cases, and we had got somebody off the street that was doing a lot of stuff. So Scott was a patrol officer assigned to help us, and we, admittedly, Josh and I had tunnel vision on this big caper we were making. Take the person under arrest into booking, and Scott was there to help us because we were going to need to write some search warrants, so Scott was going to need to watch the guy. And so I unhandcuffed him, and I was just about to put him in the cell, and Scott caught that something was weird with his hand. And he's like, hold on. He had a handcuff key hidden in his hand. What he would have done with that later on down the road, I don't know, but Scott caught that. So if anything, I'm going to give you credit for saving my life. But yeah, Scott's always been just a good street cop. And so it's not just the things he's done as a PIO, it's all the work he's done serving this community, serving these officers. Like I said earlier, he's the guy you always want as your backup officer. He's the one who's smart, probably knows the answer. He's going to be there for you. He's going to help coach you. And that's another thing. He's been a coach. He's really been a mentor for a lot of people. Kind of moving forward in his career, we put a few things on his plate that were some big asks. And Scott also is leading this organization with the reputation of a guy who gets the job done. That's not a reputation that he can easily earn. I'll give you a couple examples. First one is Better Bucks. So Better Bucks voucher program was one that originally came here. It was an idea on paper. that actually we had somebody write during a promotional process. Did some research about it going on in Flagstaff PD, wrote the idea in a promotional process, and then I believe later on that same idea got shared in a strategic planning meeting with our council. Before we knew it, Scott was told, make this happen.
Yeah.
And so we took an idea on paper that Scott not only made it happen and made it successful, meaningful, and impactful in our community with Better Bucks, which is its own nonprofit board, he grew that into Better Works. And now we have people that are cleaning up all the fields here in town, earning money, and then also better meals, giving some meals to kids in schools. But off the top of your head, Scott, you know how many pounds of trash?
70,000.
70,000 pounds of trash have been removed, not by us, but by people that we're paying through Better Works to make the city look better. And again, this is a lot of work that Scott took on, asking somebody, hey, on the side, we also need you to run this nonprofit. But it's also going to be one of our initiatives, part of our mission. It has grown. I have other people in the county asking me when can we get Better Bucks moving in other parts of other cities. And so it can only grow from here. Just so you guys know, Scott has agreed after he retires to still be a part of the nonprofit board and continue working on that, which just tells you the type of caliber of guy he is. He's not in it for the accolades. He's in it for the results. He's in it because he saw what happened in our community with that. So with Better Bucks, 2 years ago, I put him in for an award for Better Bucks and everything they've done. And he didn't get the award the first year, so I put him in the second year. And I was so glad that as he's retiring, just a couple months ago, the Herald Review recognized him as one of the Cochise County heroes for all the work he's done. In fact, I posted the article they wrote about it back there, if you're interested in seeing it. As a joke, I was going to post it next to that door since that's the door that everyone stands by and everyone seems to move in these events. But I was like, no, I'm going to move over there. Maybe I can get people out of the doorway. So anyway, if you haven't seen that article, take a look at it. It's just a great feature of just the work that Scott and the Better Bucks board has done. And again, I got to give credit to the board as well, but Scott has led that board. Again, that's just one thing that was an idea on paper that Scott, as a corporal, made a reality in our community. And then the other one was the Community Service Officer program. So I got to give Scott credit for that one because when we came up with the idea to hire community service officers, Chief Thrasher was here at the time. We hired our first community service officers and we put them under Scott. We were just trying to find a place for them, a home for them, who's going to supervise them. And we thought Scott would be a lead guy for it. And so Scott kind of took that program and ran with it to what is now a very successful program, funded with 5 full-time CSOs. And they do quite a bit of work helping our patrol officers, helping our community. They needed a lot of guidance right off the bat on, what are the boundaries? What do we do? What do we not do? We're not sworn officers. And Scott was the right guy to see that and make that successful. And so I know the CSOs are here. They think very highly of Scott. They asked me to pose for a couple photographs that are going to be part of our retirement gift. I don't know what that gift looks like, and I don't want those photos on Facebook wherever CSO is. I took a leap of faith when I posed for those photos. I do not want to see those somewhere later on Facebook. But again, another legacy thing here. The CSO program is going to be a mainstay here. It's good for recruiting young officers wanting to be police officers, and also for hiring folks that want to serve this community in a way where they can make an impact. And Scott's really the one that's made that very successful. So I could keep going on, but I also want to give other people an opportunity to share some Scott stories. But before we do that, I think it's time we give Scott a few more gifts. So Scott, let me present you with your shadow box. Scott has all his collection of badges, his original police officer badge, his honor guard badge, his 2006 Hummingbird badge, and then our 2012 Centennial badge. I forgot about that one. We got a badge when Arizona turned 100. We got a badge for that as well. And he has an honor guard badge, his corporal badge, both patches that he wore. So quite a display. really quick, before we invite people down to share some Scott stories, I'd like Scott to maybe present something and talk about something that an idea he came up with was, again, tells you the type of caliber of guy he is. So, Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to use the microphone. Most of you know I don't like standing in front of here, but I want everybody to hear. So as I was getting closer to retirement, I kind of realized that something was missing here at the department. And for all the officers in the back, retired folks, police officers, I noticed that there wasn't any recognition for the time that was served. So I came up with this idea, presented it to the chief. He loved it and said, yeah, move forward with it. So this is my gift to all the retired officers who served to retirement with the Sierra Vista PD. So it says, in honor of officers who served to retirement, and then it has their name, badge number, the month and year that they were hired, and then the month and year that they retired.
Scott gave me this idea, and I said, this is actually, you're absolutely right. In fact, for some of the retirees, I just put out a newsletter, I hope you guys got it. It kind of talks a little more about where we really want to get the history of this department up on our walls. We want the next generation to remember it, honor it, recognize it as part of our culture. And Scott's, again, been the catalyst for me to start thinking about these things. So, you know, Scott's got the service dates of all our sworn here. We're going to put this on the wall in the PD. Sadly, we already have these figured out. Because they're retirement papers in. I'm going to try my hardest to make it to here. This chief job is killing me sometimes. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to make it to there. But also, I've also told Scott this. I am going to match this contribution with identical plaque for all our civilian employees that are retired as well. And again, we're looking for photographs from our retirees. I know you guys have some, and we really want to start all these bear halls in there, fill them with all the great work everyone's done over the decades. But thank you very much, Scott. Next, I want to open it up if anybody would like to come down and share some Scott stories or just say goodbye. Thank you, Daryl.
Somebody's got to take the
Scott, the sheriff said he wasn't going to kiss you. I'll kiss you all day. So, Scott, we were on a shift together for years and years and years. Became a traffic unit officer. He became the PIO, so we ended up still on the same squad because specialty units are on the same squad. So the traffic unit, PIO, we're still on the same squad together. Seemed like we did hundreds of national nights out. Sometimes it felt that way sometimes, yeah. But me being a motor officer, which is cool, and him being the PIO, any public event that he was involved in, he would come over because our officers were right next to each other for a long time. Hey, Daryl, this is going on. I think it would be a good idea if you brought the motor out. No problem, I'll be there. And I would always tease him because he was the PIO, so I said, well, young and handsome, those are the requirements. And then now it's passed on, young and gorgeous. So it's a PIO thing. But after I retired, it took about 3 weeks for it to set in that I was actually retired. So I see you got a grill. Yep. So I'm going to give you this. And when it finally sets in that you are retired, oh, jeez. I want you to, this is a serving tray. And it's engraved, and it says, never underestimate the difference you made in the lives you've touched. Congratulations on your retired Corporal Scott Borgstadt 2025.
Take your time.
Go over here. You sit down. Okay. I know it's heavy. And once it sets in that you're fully retired, I want you to, and the grill's going and everything's ready on the grill. I want you to pour you one right in here.
Oh, wow.
I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thanks, Derek. Who's next?
Chief.
Judge?
I'm going to stand behind this podium. Sitting there, in my job, I didn't realize how many people were behind me, and I don't know if not like that. Usually not the case scenario. You know, a lot of people know the things that Scott does and has been with the department and all the things that he does with the department, but he also is very active in participating and being on the board, the Care Court board. A lot of people don't know that here in Sierra Vista, we have the only mental health court in southern Arizona, here in Sierra Vista. Scott's a big part of that. He is on the board. He goes to all the meetings. They go to through all the things that need to be done and recommendations and helping people coordinate with their counseling. So these are people that have been arrested. This isn't from the front end. This is the time when these people are in the system, or they're exercising their rights to due process. But Scott's there to represent the Sierra Vista Police Department and to see that perspective stays just that it stays in perspective. I don't know when your last actual day is, but the guy's been in front of me in the last few days, still swearing out complaints, still doing his job. I would have thought you'd shut down on that a long time ago, but no, he'll work to the end. I think you're considering to stay on the Care Court board, a real asset, and I just, the things that he has offered to the court, representing the police department in that capacity has been a real help and a true contribution to help the people that are seeking that help. And as we all know, mental health is an issue that our country will always deal with. I don't know that we haven't failed as a society sometimes in regards to helping people with mental issues. But here's this guy stepping up and right at the front of everything, being there and helping make those decisions in what's in the best interest of the people as they are part of the system. He's also made very clear recommendations that if somebody's not going to participate and they're not going to do what they're supposed to, he's also been a part of that prosecution. You need to resume, the county attorney, you need to refile those motions to resume prosecution because the law enforcement has done the work. They've done everything they're supposed to put that person in the system. And your contributions to that, I mean, come on. Policeman's a policeman. Having a little bit of experience myself in the day, there's a mindset there that is a huge contribution to the processing of these individuals. So thank you, and I appreciate the fact that you're going to stay involved.
Thank you, Judge. Bill, come down.
So Scott was one of my FTOs, and when we went out on patrol and stuff, I knew this was the guy that I wanted to emulate my career after, just because, like I said, he had good. He came into this career a little bit older, I came in a lot older. But what a lot of people don't know is that Scott's kind of like the brother I never had, and he's become that. And he and I are both born in April, 2 days apart, although he's 4 years older than I am, and I'll get to that in a minute. His wife and my wife, their birthdays are in February, 4 years apart. And we grew up in Illinois about 2 hours apart. So, like I said, again, like a brother from another mother, and we became like family, watching Kelsey grow up and become a good community person in the community herself. But Daryl Scott said that, young and handsome. So, and I still eat shit for this today, pardon my language. So, Scott and I worked on the same shift together after I got out of FTO, and we'd been on the road together for a couple of years, and we go to a call, and there's a suspect that's out and about, and so we're like, what's the description on the suspect? Well, he's an older male. Okay, can you give us a little more? Well, an older white male. Okay, about how old? She looks at me and goes, not as old as you, about as old as him. And obviously, he's young and handsome, and I have an 8 But that's something, and again, he reminded me of that probably just a few weeks ago. So even though I'm younger, I still look older. But I can tell you right now, Scott, everything that the chief said, and everybody in this room knows, you're going to be greatly missed. And like I said, I love you like a brother, man. And I'm going to miss you. And I got a brisket for that girl.
So I realize that the people that work with Scott, we don't need to say what we think of him because he's always set a good example. This is mainly for his family and the people who don't see what he does daily. Scott was one of the guys that brought me up in the department, and now seeing people retire, it's kind of strange. All of your role models and the people that showed you what to do, they're going to be gone here shortly. And it's strange seeing people that brought you up and showed you the way, moving on with their lives. But I wanted to tell family and people who don't get to see him in his job and what he does, that we're very grateful for you loaning him to us and for the example that he set for the other officers. And I want to thank you for as you put it, don't. When I first got hired on, one of the things that he said to me was, I took a chance on you and vouched for you, so don't disappoint me. And I didn't realize what that meant until I saw how Scott was how he took his job, how seriously he took it, and the effort he put into it. So I'm thankful for somebody who did take their job seriously and did it well.
In this profession, we actually are required to live 2 lives. The life that's here at the PD and the life at home. They should not be the same. If they are the same, you're messing up. You actually got to turn it on when you come here. Another layer to that is very difficult to master is here within the PD, within the confines of this building, we talk about cop work all the time to each other. But to be able to explain police work to citizens, to members of our community, is actually a craft. That craft that Scott has earned. Not too long ago, I tasked a lot of our leadership here in the PD to write me some articles for the next Sentinel. And I realized I failed to mention something to them or remind them of something. Don't write the article to me. Write the article to the community that's going to read it. Very different how you present that. Scott was able to immediately recognize when he needed to present things, and it got to the point where active incidents going on in our community, Scott could just be on the perimeter, cop mindset, thinking about what he needs to do, and next thing he knows, we got the Herald there, and someone needs to talk to the Herald. And so Scott would walk away, put himself in that mindset and say, I need to deliver a message for our community, not to SVPD officers. We have some people in this department, I'd be afraid if I put you in that role. The 4-letter words that would drop out. But Scott can master that craft. And I know there's one where Mark, you interviewed him, live. Great interview. And same thing, Todd. You guys, he can put that on. And he can say, okay, I'm not talking to cops right now. I might go right back there in a second, but I got to deliver a message to our community. And again, that took skill. Something that's going to be hard for shoes to fill. I know Janae can do it, but I know over the last couple of weeks, Scott's been spending time with Janae, and she got her feet wet just yesterday. Did a great job too on a SWAT situation. So again, the multiple hats we wear in a small department. People think that a small police department is easy. No, it's actually harder. You want to just have one singular mission, one single job, go work for Phoenix PD. You want to have multiple missions, a lot of hats to wear, come work for Sierra Vista PD, you'd be a lot more well-rounded. And Scott really is a good representation of that. Who's next? Thank you, Paul. Paul, you're limited to 5 minutes.
Real quick. Scott here was my primary, when I joined the department, he was my primary FTO, and so it's absolutely not his fault. He tried his best for how I turned out. I got lucky enough that he was my primary. I had him for 2 cycles, and then I actually got to go straight to the shift that he was already supervisor on with Brian Sebastian. And so of course I was like, I want to do good for this guy. You know, he's my boss. And we were out on a call looking for this young kid, and I happened to be driving around a corner because he had called over the radio that he sees him. He's going to be out with him out this corner. As I go to turn down the road, I see like the biggest Native American kid I've ever seen in my entire life. He's probably like 6'5", 280 pounds, big dude. And as the picture of what's happening in front of me is coming into frame, I realize they're like doing like a little hand scuffle thing. I think Scott was trying to put him in handcuffs or something, and there was a little bit of a struggle going on. So I jump out, and as I'm running towards him, all I see is the back of the Native American kid is what is in front of me, and he's just basically covering Scott completely, and then they all forward. I'm like, oh no, he's getting my boss. I gotta go save him. And I come running up, and I probably, in hindsight, with my training, I probably should give given a warning first. But I tased that kid right in the butt. And it was effective. It got him to stop. Everything was all said and done, and Scott kind of goes over it, and I had to get maybe off FTO a few months, and he goes, I actually pulled him down. I was holding him down on top of him while I was keeping him from getting away, and I'm like, oh. From my perspective, he was killing my boss, and so I had to save his life. Now we're going to appreciate it.
Let me tell just a quick story of Paul. I was his primary, and he was the unluckiest officer initially. During the 2 weeks or 3 weeks that we were together, we took 5 dead body calls in that time frame. After I was off, I didn't take a dead body call until a year after I was off FTO. It was my first one. But Paul and I went to 5 in that time frame. So did a great job.
And you got my first arrest was Kelly Bad.
Okay, anything else? Any other stories for Scott? Scott, I think it's your turn to say
My
something.
time.
Yeah.
All right, first things first. Thank you. Well, first off, thanks everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me to have so many people come to my retirement. It really means a lot. First off is just so everybody knows, we're going to have an unofficial gathering at Doc's Watering Hole this evening about 5:30, 6 o'clock. If you want to come by and say hi again, that would be appreciated. So, thinking about final thoughts on my career, and the chief hit a lot of them. Did you read my notes?
No, I was just
So, I wasn't sure what to expect when I joined the PD. I quickly learned that the SVPD is a family. My experience has been that we take care of each other in times of joy and tragedy. God terms true. I believe that we all came into this career because we wanted to help others and make our community a better place. While at work, do the best that you can. But remember that every day, you only have 100% of yourself to give. My advice is, do the best you can, but save some of that 100% for your family and your friends. Some of my highlights, as the chief said, me writing a proposal that basically created the CRO and PIO position. And for that, if you see something that needs to be changed or something new that you think should be created, don't complain about it. Write a memo, write a proposal, outline the problem or the situation, and then provide realistic solutions to it. Trust me, command staff will look at it and they will listen to you. They might not be able to adapt it right away. Ken Kibble's in the back. Where is he? I saw him earlier. There he is. I wrote this proposal and for the CRO position, and they said, yeah, it's a great idea. We'd love to do it, but we can't do it at this time because of staffing. When Ken became chief, which is about 5 years later, he comes up to me and says, you still got that proposal? Sure do. So I handed it to him. Shortly after that, the position was created. Becoming an FTO. Honestly, that's probably one of my favorite positions. I absolutely love training people and seeing them develop into outstanding officers. For those of you that are an FTO or thinking about becoming one, you got to remember that an FTO, you need to be fair in your evaluation, but you also have to hold your trainees accountable. Your first duty is to the city and the department, and you can be friends with your trainees later. Please keep that in mind. Another highlight was creating the video, The Real Cost of a DUI. If you haven't seen this, it's on the PD Facebook page. Take some time to take a look at it. Also, working with all the amazing organizations in the community. Citizens Police Academy Associates. It's been an absolute joy to be part of that organization. It meant a lot to me too at a recent general meeting when they made a motion to make me, what was it? Ex officio member of that organization. And I plan to stick with them and help them out all that I can. Good Neighbor Alliance. Again, another great nonprofit organization. I dealt with them a lot with the homeless population and with Better Bucks and Better Work program. Get to know those folks. They do an amazing job there. Let's see, Forgash House. Again, another great organization that helps folks out. I had a situation a few years ago where a young officer called me and said, I don't know what to do. I need help. So I went to the call, and as I'm going, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, well, this just looks like a simple dead body call, you know? So I get there, and I said, what's up? And he said, well, there's a woman in here. She passed away. She's in the bathroom. Her son-in-law, who actually was a foreign national in the country legally, and the brother or the son of the woman that had passed, who was autistic. And come to find out, the son-in-law lost his wife went into a coma having a child, and she was not going to make it. That day, they were supposed to go up to Tucson and basically pull the plug. He lost his mother-in-law and his wife on the same day. And I called in resources. I called the Forgash House. I called a couple other. Forgash showed up. They did an amazing job with this man. Took him to where he needed to go, helped take care of his daughter and get the services that he needed. They did an absolutely fantastic job, and he's still in this community and thriving, and it's all because I made a phone call. So get to know those folks too. Also, Lori's Place. Chief's a big proponent for Lori's Place. They did a fantastic job too. In fact, Lori's Place also helped out with that same situation. Simple phone call, and they were there getting everything that we needed to do to help those folks out. If you get a chance, support them. CPAA is going to go take a tour of that facility in March. Yeah, so it's something that you should look into. All these organizations were created, what I think, for the same reason that we all got into law enforcement. They want to help others and make the community a better place. Again, yeah, another highlight, Chief said it, being given the opportunity to help create Better Bucks. With an amazing board, what started out as an idea has grown into 3 separate programs. Better Bucks, which has paid out over $67,000 to merchants. That's for people that have been using the Better Bucks. Better Work, we've removed 70,000 pounds of trash from the desert and paid out about $5,000 in better meals. Also another highlight, yes, being selected as the 2025 Cochise County Social Justice Hero based on the work that was done with the Better Work programs. It meant a lot to me. Also, I swear you read my notes. Supervising the CSO program. That's been an amazing challenge. Some wonderful, wonderful people that do that job. We had to kind of take a different angle with it because they're not certified. They haven't been to an academy. They had to be taught from scratch. And I'm going to tell you, officers, supervisors in the room, if you guys have a question or need to know how to do an ATAR, call a CSO. They know what they're doing, and they do a great job with it. Finally, I want to say thank you. Obviously to the city and to the PD for taking a chance on me. Like Daryl said, Bill said, I started out a little bit later in life on this, and it's been a fantastic career. I really appreciate it. To all those that have been my supervisor or I have supervised, it's been fun. We've had some great times. I really appreciate that. As you're looking around the room, you might see some stranger faces that you don't recognize. I wasn't going to do this right now, but I'm going to. I changed my mind. I had an idea a few months ago of, in my job, I run into a lot of amazing people that nobody knows about. They do some fantastic work in the community, but they've also had some unbelievable setbacks throughout life. I want to thank Todd for helping out with this. I came up with this idea, asked him what he thought, and he was like, let's do it. So about 5 months ago, we started doing a series called What Do You See When You Look at Me? If you haven't read any of them, go to the Cool FM website, read them. And we've got a couple of those folks here in the back. Joe LaCoon, Jason Mullins, he's been there. Anybody else? I don't see anybody. But anyway, like I said, they had adversities throughout their life, and they overcame them and have become amazing, positive people in the community. So thank you guys for letting me do that and let me share your story. I want to thank my mom and dad. I thank you for the support when I started a new career a little bit later in life. You helped out quite a bit, Dad. I appreciate that, and a lot of support from my mom, who isn't here right now. I want to thank my brother Todd. You taught me the true meaning of being a tough survivor. To my daughter Kelsey, I love you, and thank you for your uncanny logic, and how you care for others and your passion for life. Finally, to my wife, my amazing wife Denise, I love you, and I can't wait to start the next adventure.
Scott, I forgot something too.
Uh-oh.
You're the 2012 winner of the Meritorious Service Medal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't read your notes. Scott has had just a great career. There's only about 7 or 8 employees at the PD who received that medal. Scott's one of them for all the great work he's done. All proactive stuff, just like he said in his letter just now. He said, if you got an idea, don't complain about it, do it. And that's what this department's about. And Scott always took the initiative on these things, and that's one of the reasons why he got recognized. But Scott, you're always going to be a part of this family. You know that. So is everybody in your family. And again, this is a caring guy who looks at the community he serves as an investment in the place where he lives, raises his family. These are the people that we care about. This is why we joined this job. It's great to see when people turn their lives around, and we can be a part of that. Thank you so much for joining us today. You ready for the next one?
Ready for the next one.
You want to explain a little bit what we're going to do? Or you guys
Explain a little
okay?
bit what we do. So, when I became, sorry, that's going to be important in a minute. After the academy, graduation, my brother Todd was there, and he pinned me. He was kind of shocked that I asked him to do that. He figured, Denise would do that. But what you don't know is Todd's life desire was to become a police officer. He went into the military, was military police, was stationed here at Fort Huachuca as a military police investigator. And in the course of his duties, he ended up getting shot and paralyzed. So his dream of becoming a police officer was gone. He told me not too long ago that he really appreciated the fact that I became an officer and followed my career and kind of lived vicariously through me type stuff. So in honor of my brother, I'm going to do something a little bit different when it comes to last call. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give my brother the honor of doing my last call.
PD 241, go ahead. PD 241, for 24 years, it has been my honor to serve the Sierra Vista to my fellow officers and all the members of the Sierra Vista PD, CPL, and ACO. I wish you all the best and stay safe. PD 241, I'm out of service. Thank you for your 24 years of service and dedication to the city of Sierra Vista. Good luck with the next chapter. It has been an honor serving with you. PD 241, you are out of service on November 26, 2025 at 16:07.
Yeah!
Okay, I now present to you retired police officer Corporal Scott Borgstadt. We have some really cool cookies that were brought, and we also have some things for people to watch. So please stay as long as you like. Photos, say goodbye to Scott, and please help yourselves. Thank you for joining us today.